largest economy. Projections of growth over the medium term remain encouraging and optimistic for India. The underlying strengths are indicative of the potential of India to achieve a $5 trillion economy by 2024. The current structure of the economy and the emerging dynamics provide us grounds to achieve $1 trillion from agriculture and allied activities, another $1 trillion from manufacturing, and $3 trillion from services. It was heartening to see in the recently concluded All India Management Association meet held in Delhi, where every single union minister, starting from Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah, Information Technology and Broadcasting Minister Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, Finance Ministry Principal Advisor Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, and industry giants like Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, Mr. Sanjeev Goenka, Mr. Sanjay Kirloskar, Mr. Mohan Das Pai presented their respective ministries and their organizations' roadmap to achieve this national goal of $5 trillion economy. India is currently a $2.8 trillion economy, and to reach the $5 trillion mark by 2024, the economy would require a well-conceived national strategy to make India a $5 trillion economy. Today's panel discussion, the role of human resources in achieving $5 trillion economy by 2024, is an attempt at understanding, dwelling, and preparing the present and future workforce to be ready to achieve this national goal. Human resources play a pivotal role in any organization and are instrumental in shaping the culture and structure through various HR functions, in ensuring the expected results are achieved, and one of the key functions is skilling and reskilling the human capital. Organizations that perform well are those who not only have strong human resource development initiatives in place, but are also able to adapt those initiatives according to the objectives of organizations and economic situations. Any nation and organization's growth is largely dependent on skill, resources, and ensuring the right fit for the role. The time is now to adopt and devise HR strategies which focus on anchoring organization towards the organizational goal as well as the national goal. Through recruiting and training right set of people for both skills and attitude. Learn, unlearn, relearn is an attitude that needs to be adopted if organizations expect to keep up with changing consumer demands, employee needs, shifting markets and business models, and other considerations that we have to yet think about, such as the speed of change and technological innovation. With that in mind, I welcome you all to a panel discussion that will help define and shape the coming year and beyond. While it's impossible to be completely future-proof, being as prepared as possible can help business organizations and business leaders to successfully adapt to continuous change. May I now take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed panel members and guests of the day. May I now introduce and invite our first panelist. She is a certified organization development consultant, MBTI administrator and Association for Talent Development certified coach, leads branding and communication for HR at TCS. She is also competency development manager for corporate functions. She works on benchmarking the TCS HR and talent development functions against the best in the industry. Presenting TCS in many award-winning forums globally like the Association for Talent Development, Brandon Hall, and others. She has served as jury for the Brandon Hall and Learning Elite Awards. She has been part of many organizational change and leadership initiatives, designing programs on inspirational leadership for middle managers and leadership assessments for senior leaders. As head of Mumbai Talent Development in her previous role, she has led learning interventions in technology, domain, and behavior programs for 40,000 plus associates across Mumbai. She started her career with educational institutions. She has been a writer, contributing to columns for Indian national newspapers like Economic Times and Business Line. An editor, teacher, and facilitator, her deep and abiding passion for learning helps her to constantly explore and discover new frontiers of learning and sharing her passion and interest. With huge round of applause, may I invite Nivedita Kuruvilla to join the panel. Thank you so much. May I now introduce and invite our next panelist. She is a postgraduate in HR from Symbiosis. She is a seasoned HR professional with over 19 years of experience in creating human capital and business successes in FMCG, retail, manufacturing and real estate industry. She led important assignments in major MNCs like Gillette, Heinz, and reputed Indian houses in leadership position. She has also been an entrepreneur running an HR firm. She has designed and embedded strategies across learning and development, talent management, change management, business partnering, C&B, leadership development, and organization design. In current role of head HR at Davidoff, her priorities include aligning the organization's people strategy with business objectives, building a transformational and diverse organization. With huge round of applause, may I invite Manpreet Kaur to join the panel. Thank you. Our next panelist is an HR professional with experience across different domains of human resource management, including mergers and acquisitions, leadership development, talent management, organization development, compensation and benefits, performance management, people analytics, and talent acquisition. He has been featured in the 100 HR Under 40 list, recognizing the change makers in the HR space. He is a certified practitioner for Marshall Goldsmith's Global Leadership Assessment, Thomas International's Personal Profile Analysis, delivering Happiness Institute's Culture Builder, and Predictive Strategy Group's Predictive Index Assessment. He has co-authored research paper on employer branding. What do best employer surveys reveal about employer branding and intention to apply, which has been published in the Journal of Brand Management by Palgrave Macmillan. He started his career with Oberoi Group of Hotels. He has worked on various HR projects with SAP Labs, Johnson & Johnson, Lakme Lever. He has also actively partnered for strategic HR projects with NGOs including REAP, Stri Mukti Sanghatan, Naitik Vikas Samiti, and Arohan. He has done Masters in Human Resource Management and Labor Relations program at Tata Institute of Social Sciences and has done his Bachelor's in Hospitality Management from West Bengal University. With huge round of applause, may I invite Manoj Chaudhary to join the panel. Thank you, sir. Our next panelist is a professional with over 17 years of experience in the field of sales, customer service, line HR, and learning and development. He started his career with Wipro Limited as line HR and training manager, and then he moved with reputed companies like Tata Teleservices Limited and India Bulls Ventures Limited. Presently, he is working with world's market leader in trade assembly and fastening materials worth India Private Limited as Head of Learning and Development. With huge round of applause, may I invite Sachin Kodolikar to join the panel. Thank you, sir. Our next panelist is a HR professional with well-rounded exposure over 20 years in fields of learning and development, change management, performance enhancement, and organizational learning with Bachelor of Pharmacy, Postgraduate Diploma in Business Administration from IMT Ghaziabad, and Postgraduate Certificate in Human Resource Management from Accelerate Jamshedpur. He started his career with Natco Pharma and has worked with Ipca Laboratories Limited, Wokhod Limited, Glenmark Limited, Unichem Laboratories Limited, and Macan Pharma Limited. He has handled diverse senior assignments in varied fields and is also a guest visiting faculty to top management institutes. With huge round of applause, may I invite Ashish Sharma to join the panel. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin today's event with our keynote address, and for this, may I now take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker. Prior to setting up own practice and training company Talent Rewired, she held the position of Executive Vice President and Global HR Head at Tria Infotech Limited. Her gamut of experience within HR spans across employee engagement and communication, organizational development and training, strategic resourcing and talent acquisition, compensation and benefits, and performance management. She is an experienced trainer with more than 2 decades of proven abilities in delivering a wide range of leadership, sales, and behavioral programs. She is a recipient of the Women in Leadership Award in 2012 and the Women's Achiever Award in 2013, conferred by the World HRD Congress. In a quest to use her core expertise for upliftment of the rural girl child, she collaborated with NGO Yuva to run workshops in the rural interiors of India for young village girls to enable them to develop critical soft skills which can help them be independent and carve their own careers. With huge round of applause, may I request Alka Tiwari to deliver the keynote address. Yes.
Well, good morning, everybody. And it's a real pleasure to be here. Frankly, we are talking about change, and the kind of change that I have seen over the last couple of days has been phenomenal and enormous. Just a day back, I was up in the Himalayas, trekking, trying to get a view of the Everest. And now here I am in front of you, speaking on HR and its role in achieving a 5 trillion economy. It's a great pleasure to be here and to meet all of you. Now, let me just go back to my most recent experience of trekking. This is the 3rd time that I've done trekking in the Himalayas. And we were basically doing the Gokyori, which is very similar to the Everest Base Camp trek at about almost 16,000 plus feet. And the only constant there was the Himalayas. There is no other constant. You can see the Everest, you can see the other peaks. Everything else changes. The weather is changing. Your health is changing. Somebody is falling ill with high altitude sickness. I have fallen ill myself in the past, and even this time to some extent. So things keep changing. The weather will change. Suddenly it's snowing. Suddenly it's hot, suddenly it's cold. And you got to keep changing with whatever is thrown at you. The weather was bad, we couldn't fly out one day. You would be knowing that Lukla is one of the most dangerous airports in the world, one of the highest. And the weather turned bad and we couldn't fly out from there, so we lost a day, had to revise everything. But our goal remained the Gokyori peak and getting a glimpse of the Everest. What we are seeing here in terms of achieving a 5 trillion economy by 2024 is much like that. We have the goal set in front of us, loud and clear. We all know what it is, 1 trillion from agri, 1 trillion from manufacturing, 3 trillion from services, etc. But the rest of it is very nebulous. Nobody, literally nobody, can predict how the world is going to be behaving, how the economy is going to change, what is going to be, or what policies are going to be thrown at you. Nobody knows that. So we are living in a world of high dynamism and very, very high uncertainty. And much like how we do when we trek in the Himalayas, the only thing that you can really do is prepare. Prepare for anything that life is going to throw at you. That is the only thing that we can do, and that is the key role that HR needs to play in order to equip organizations to move towards a 5 trillion economy. Now, there is one very strong constant, and that is the huge latent human potential that we have. Huge. That is a constant. It's not going anywhere. We are all there, you, me, everybody else, we are all there. And the average age is going to be around 29 years. But at this point of time, when we are working towards 2024, you actually have 5 generations in the workplace. So you have, different people define it slightly differently, different countries define it slightly differently, but very broadly, you have the traditionalists who are still there. A lot of traditionalists who were born, say, 1945 and earlier are still there, and they are in the decision-making positions. Then you have the baby boomers. Again, pretty much the country and the economy is being run by them. They are there. Gen X, in the powerful positions in the economy right now, in the various corporate houses. Majority of the crowd are the millennials. That's what the bulk is made up of. And nudging the millennials come the Gen Z, which is pretty much 96 and post. Now, all these various generations have grown up with different experiences. There have been different parenting styles. Economy has changed. Historical events have been different. So when you look at traditionalists, what would be the strongest feature in their probably the mind is the independence area, independence times. So they're very heavy, strongly influenced by that. If you look at, I don't know how you all really feel about it, but I've spoken to a lot of millennials and even the Gen Z people. They seem to be very, very strongly taken up by the climatic conditions and the climate change. I don't know whether you all discuss it among yourselves. And they seem to think that it's a very critical area. And I've seen a lot of millennials and the younger people actually blaming my generation, saying that you all are sitting in all the positions of power and doing nothing about it. And who's going to get influenced by it? Us. So different things influence different generations, and hence the values, the goals that we have, what drives us, our aspirations will all be different. The key is that we need to all work together, we need to understand each other and be able to derive the maximum potential from each of the generations. So when you're looking at the older generations who are now the leaders, they definitely need to understand that they are leading a bunch of people whose aspirations and whose thought processes and the way of viewing the world may be really totally different. A lot of you, I think, view the world through your screens, right? Yeah, the world is through the screen. Then comes the actual reality. Whereas for a lot of people in the older generation, the screen is something, okay, it's there. But the main thing is, the actual reality. So the way of viewing the world is sometimes totally different. Yeah. So the key is really to engage with each other by understanding each other and deriving the maximum potential from each other. And that is something that HR has a very, very key role to play in. Because who else is really going to do it if HR doesn't? It is HR that has to manage that. It is HR that has to enable that. So that is one of the aspects. And the key to the 5 trillion economy is the huge human capital. Nothing is going to work. Not the technology, not the manufacturing, not anything. Nothing will work if the human capital is not engaged, is not motivated, and is not out there working with the changing dynamic landscape. Now, when you're talking about all this, the other thing that automatically comes into the picture is leadership. You need leadership that has a global mindset. You need leadership that is able to envision things in a very blurry and foggy picture, so to speak. You know, like pilots, you would be more comfortable with a pilot who even in bad weather is able to land you safely home, right? So that's the kind of leader you need. A leader who is able to pierce through the fog, see the future, take you there, and take you all along. So another very key role of HR becomes creating those kind of leaders who have that global mindset, who are able to work with diverse talent, who are able to work with multiple generations, with different cultures across the world. You need to develop those kind of leaders. You need to develop high potential people, high potential talent, and retain them, because they are your key to the future. Now, all of this, including the institutes, in fact, one of the key problems that occurs, unfortunately, is that there does seem to be a bit of a disconnect between the institutes and the corporates. So we are not really very well clued into what each other wants. And I'm saying this from both the sides. I'm not just saying that the institutes are not clued into what the corporates want. It's also vice versa. The corporates need to be equally clued into what the institutes and the students are looking for. So there needs to be much greater interaction, much greater awareness, much greater understanding, so that when people come out, most of the corporates are spending huge amounts of money in retraining completely. They wouldn't need to do that if you get a better engaged and better skilled output from the institutes itself. So that engagement also really needs to increase quite a bit. Technology in doing all of this, whether you're talking about employee engagement, whether you're talking